Starting inside the workshop seems weird, but I just wanted to show something. We have access to these accessories now: elbow pad, which reduces chance of strength bind, safety helmet for magic bind, and leg warmer for agility bind. These are probably a reference to how in Etrian Odyssey, these ailments are instead arm bind, head bind, and leg bind. So that's actually kind of cool. Just reducing the chance of poison's not that bad against certain fights either. These are pretty expensive though for what they do. Anyway, welcome back to Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. I've gotten access to a few things in the workshop. A lot of people want me to buy a better weapon for Shinjiro. The problem is, yeah, I've got another pretty good one coming up, but it only requires one ripped shawl, which is another power spot item that's, I think, decently rare, but we only need one of it. And I think I'm actually saving up for doing the compendium a bit. We do have a stroll conversation, but before we do that, I want to go to the Velvet Room. Even though the stroll conversation does pertain to someone in the Velvet Room. And actually, I want to do one thing first. So I haven't actually done a QR code persona in a while, so here, have this version of Matador. And in fact, I might be able to show multiple in the same part, so have Titania as well, and totally break the game with Impure Reach and Mamoru. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to do something that's going to be very, very painful to me. So, I said before that I love Matador, and I really want to be using Matador as much as possible. I can make areas with just 3 personas that I don't really want. However, I do want to pass down Impure Reach and Toxic Slice, and the only way I have to do that for now is Mata. Actually, hang on a second. Let me try something. This might not work, but do I have any lower level death personas in the compendium? Aha! Yes, I can do this with McCoy. That's very good to know. I don't have to give up Matador. It does require me to give up King Frost, though. And I really like that Absorb Ice. However, this does mean I can pass down a lot of skills. The number of skills that you get on the resulting personas dependent on the number, I've probably said this before, from the component personas. So anyway, let's go with Impure Reach, Toxic Slice, and I suppose I can also use, I guess I can give you Disarm and Pulimpa as well. I'll have to replace some of those as you learn new skills. Now, it's not that vital that I pass down Shinkuha, because Ares learns Shinkuha naturally. It also starts with a similar skill to Shinkuha called Reseha, I think, that is similar, but it's random. I personally find it a bit less reliable, but anyway, I could get Queen Mab too. That requires me to give up Matador. I don't want to get rid of Ares immediately after fusing it. Archangel, Nue, again, Ares, and Matador. Yeah, unfortunately, there aren't many good fusion combos for you. I think Setsunta's a lot better than Ikusa for now. Now, since I can't actually use Nue in any recipe at the moment, maybe I should try this, and just to show off how the sacrifice item system works. Who wants some experience? Probably not you. Oh, you're so close to leveling up anyway. Oh, you know, it's probably better for me to sacrifice this Archangel, although Archangel's easy access to null paralysis. Yeah, I think I actually will sacrifice Jack Frost. Again, second time sacrificing Jack Frost this playthrough. That's not a bad idea. Turdak will have double link later on, but having access to it now is not bad. The only problem is just about all of these skills here are pretty good. I have Tarukaja on other people, though. Oh, and you eventually do get Power Charge. Yes, Setsunta's a pretty good persona overall. And we get the Nue Claw, which we can use in the workshop to make a new weapon. I'm kind of surprised Jack Frost doesn't have his own, sacrifice drop, actually. Because I know the Jack Gloves were a joke weapon for Akihiko in Persona 3. So we can get Shishio, which is actually the name of, of Mitsurugi's sword from Soul Calibur. I think it literally means Lion King. And it seems to be an actual mythological thing. Also, we can make this out of the Romance Shard. Junpei has a similar weapon. Pretty weak, but a chance of Magic Bind without lowering your strength. You know what, I'll actually go ahead and get this for Junpei, because I might be using him going forward. Don't want to sell the Onusa sword, though. I instead want to put it in storage. And before we do anything else, might as well take care of this Stroll. Who's the poet? Well, we obviously know who it is, but the others don't seem to, although I'm sure the P4 cast would have seen one of Marie's poems at some point, or did only the protagonists see them? Oh, it's actually the Velvet Attendants this time. I wonder how they would have fared in the categories game.
Honestly.
That's bizarre. Yeah, the Velvet Attendants always just interacting with each other. They're always so weird, but that's what I love about them.
What? What?
I'm pretty sure frog's legs are the one kind of meat that Cher would not want to eat. By the way, I've been in France recently, and I never saw any frog legs on any restaurant menu that I was at.
Of course not. Hey now!
Oh, so this must change depending on who, again, got emotionally scarred.
Idiot.
Yeah, I think Yukiko actually compliments the poem a lot more than Cher does, so yeah, I forgot about that. This Stroll does change, because I clearly remember seeing the Yukiko version of this Stroll in another playthrough. And she has to interrupt, so it will remain a mystery to everyone except us. And again, more blatant Catherine references with the shooting gallery. But anyway, now it's time to change around our party, and you can probably tell by the fact that I bought Junpei a new weapon that I want to use him here. Okay, they're all level 20, I might as well bring some people who are not level 20, which is not many. I guess I can take Yosuke. And, hey, yeah, Naoto for once, she's under-leveled. Yeah, let's go with you guys. I might change the formation around, though. I guess Yosuke can go in the front. Doesn't really matter where on the back row that the characters are, there's still only 2 back row slots. I don't really have a lot of good personas for this party. Actually, I guess you two should swap personas. Which will mean that you're taking Matador. But yeah, I kind of have a lot of physically based personas, and this party's more magic based. It is more optimal to give Titania to Naoto, but Naoto's overpowered as it is, so I want to give Mitsuru a bit more screen time, and you're going to stay with your Navigator one. And so here's the equipment setup that I've gone with. And I had to go and buy a Go-Ho-M. There will be a time in this game where we don't need to do that anymore, and I'm really looking forward to that time, but it doesn't come until the 3rd dungeon. It's not too far to the shortcut back to where we last were, so I might as well keep this all in. Yeah, it's just one room in. Not too long until we have to say goodbye to the group date cafe. I do really like this place. If I have one complaint about it, it's that the enemies here aren't really all that memorable, mostly due to a lot of them just dying in one hit to Hummer or Moon. That is the case with a lot of enemies in this game. Oh, hi there, you.
It's strong. Be careful.
Its size means it's powerful. Be cautious.
But yeah, a lot of the enemies, besides this one, because this thing is actually pretty strong, a lot of them just die quickly and aren't really... The main one that sticks out to me is the one that can use stone, just because that one is actually kind of a threat. I guess I can use Swift Strike, and you can attempt to panic it for now. I might as well leave this in, because this is a very different party to the one that I used to take on the King last time. The King. This is probably going to miss a lot, actually. No, hit all three without Agility Bind or Panic. And that was pretty lucky. Yeah. Oh, that was pretty unlucky. I was hoping for a double missed everyone there, but nope. Naoto's weapon's pretty strong, actually.
I missed.
Oh. That was sort of to be expected. Actually, no, Mitsuru's luck is alright.
Mitsuru-senpai is cursed. It's dangerous to attack me.
Perhaps I should focus on support for now.
Well, that's what I was going to have you do anyway, so I don't really mind.
Let's do this, Hermes!
Of course, other people could easily get cursed before their turn takes place. Well, no, because he's down. The King is less of a threat now that we're a little bit higher level since we last met him. If anything, though, I think the worst of the Trial of Love ambushes from the locked doors happened on the very first floor against all those stone-causing enemies. But yeah, most people think this place has a good aesthetic. It's a little on the easy side, but that's kind of fine. It's a nice breather after the first dungeon's surprisingly difficult final floor. And a nice introduction to being able to use two different parties. Now, I will warn you, the dungeon after this definitely picks up the difficulty quite a lot. So you will need to be careful there, and you might even need to grind. First time I played this game, the only 2 times I really needed to... Well, actually, no, there were 3 times I needed to grind. The first was before the first boss, the second was right after this dungeon, before the third dungeon, and the third was just before the final boss. However, on my practice playthrough before I did this game, I actually didn't need to grind before the third dungeon, and hopefully that'll be the case here. But anyway, yeah, this point in the game, I don't know, there's not really a lot to say about this dungeon. To some extent, I kind of feel like the 4th floor kind of overstays its welcome, because it's pretty much more of the same stuff that we've seen before. That's more like the Gorgeous King I know. Please don't take that statement out of context. Anyway, so I'm sorry if these parts, I don't know, if they're not quite as interesting as some of the earlier ones. I hope I can at least make them entertaining. I do have a tangent to go on. I promised earlier that I'd go on a tangent about how I feel about romance side quests in video game. Oh, you actually have some navigator skills. High rate of rare materials. Alleys of Light is not bad at all. You know what? I can use a dual navigator setup with this. And in fact, that might be what I...
that strong here?
Again, Junpei objects to the super strong giant shadows. Huh. This will cost me a Goho M, but how hurt are we? I don't think we're really that hurt. I want to actually try that. So people in the comments have been getting on my case. Oh, only a few people have been getting on my case about this. I wouldn't really say that. They were just kind of trying to offer advice, and that's fine. You can have a different navigator in battle and in the labyrinth. Now, the reason I didn't do this before was because I only really had one good navigator persona. That has changed now. So what I can actually do here is, because I got that Shisa, who has a lot of skills that only take effect outside of battle rather than in battle, I can give my battle navigator, Nozuchi, who has all of the buffs and the healing navigator skills, and I can give my out-of-battle navigator, this persona, so I get HP restored outside of battle, and I have a Harvest Prayer as well. I might even save after that, because that was a pretty lucky persona to end up getting.
Let's go already!
And so here we are back to where we were before, and we immediately get an encounter.
2 shadows. They're strong.
Those butterflies. I don't think we should take them lightly.
Okay then, I personally consider them one of the weakest enemies in this area because of them being weak to instant death, but oh well. I still don't know why they gave Yosuke physical wind attacks when his magic is higher. I'm not too worried about poison because it doesn't persist outside of battle, like, you know, say some Pokemon games. I don't like how that removes boost across rows, though.
You call for a hero?
But this should still be an all-out attack. Oh, that looks cool. I've never seen that animation before.
How awesome are we?
And finish bonus for that, too. And we get Legion. Well, that's better than getting him out of an accident.
Aren't we the best? We rule!
And this does mean that both navigators will be getting experience at the same
I'm growing
time.
too, you know.
I'm not too fussed about replacing lower tier physical elemental skills with higher tier ones,
increased.
because they're fueled by HP, which is easy to heal. Garula. What's your skill that I don't want to remove? Oh, that in itself is Garula, so it doesn't really matter what I replace as long as I don't refuse to learn Garula. Magaru can be useful, though. Windwall. I don't really care about Windwall. I never really use it anyway. Actually, wait a minute. Windwall could be useful in Dungeon 3. Dang it. Oh well, I guess I want to show off the true horror that is that particular thing in Dungeon 3, regardless.
Oh, I found a power spot.
What I actually meant by the tangent, though, is I kind of more wanted to go into my thoughts on just just dialogue choices in games, or specifically choices that lead to specific outcomes in games in general. Not so much romance side quests in particular, because that all gets very subjective, what love interest people prefer, and I don't know. Junpei, why? I still don't think Junpei is as flanderized as Akihiko or Teddy, but he does get these weird moments where it's like, sometimes he's faithful to Chidori, sometimes he's not. It's just really all over the place. Yeah. Akihiko's life is like having hundreds of Amy Roses constantly. Gary Stu obviously would love that kind of attention, so he would not agree. This is actually kind of a funny line, though. Well, now I'm imagining Akihiko and Sakura Origami crossover. And yeah, that kind of sinks a lot of ships involving Akihiko, but not every character needs to be interested in romance. It's actually pretty sad for Yosuke, because the girl he was in love with actually died. And that's not so much of a spoiler, because that's very early game Persona 4. And it's what sets off the entire plot of Persona 4, really. Except earlier I did promise not to spoil that, dang it.
I'd rather not have to fight this kind.
Yosuke, please stop saying lines that make people ask questions. Anyway, we've got a Mora Snake, which I believe was a mini-boss in Rise's dungeon back in Persona 4. It is weak to fire and dark. Again, these snakes were usually weak to ice in the original games. But, yeah. I mean, I guess I could just go on a bit of a tangent here and say that I've never really liked the idea of crossover ships, unless you're trying to speculate that the two pieces of media are in the same universe, which is also a bit of a minefield. If I get this with Naoto, I can probably have her go for Megado next turn and show that off.
Here I go.
But yeah, crossover ships have really never been my thing. I mean, it might be because I've been a little bit tainted by the Smash Bros fandom, and usually a lot of people who do crossover ships have no knowledge of one of the universes involved.
I missed.
They're just like, oh, Marth and Roy would be so cute together, despite the fact that they're in entirely separate universes, and their universes are not confirmed to be linked in any way at all. Well, I guess people have probably stopped doing that now that more people know about, like, the actual Fire Emblem games and know that they're not all in the same universe, so some people... I guess I could do that, but yeah, I can show why I personally don't... Well, okay, let's do a test. I rarely ever use that skill, so I might actually end up liking it. We'll see. I probably should have gone for a
Call
new
for a
way.
hero?
Well, that crit at least something.
Seriously? Persona!
Yeah, I do find that it's not as reliable, it tends to miss a lot, and its individual hits don't seem to do as much damage as Shinkuha does. In fact, I'm not entirely sure what Shinkuha even means. I think it's like vacuum something. Because I know that, like, Ryu in Street Fighter has Shinku Tatsumaki, which is like a vacuum hurricane which sucks people in. And... I forget, I know that there was something that taught me that Shinku is vacuum. I think, Vacuum Wave in Pokemon, maybe? But...
Dusty-kun's health is low.
Sorry, I took too many hits.
Let's, okay, let's follow my own advice. Let's go ahead and heal. Because I am a little down on revival items right now. Okay, now it's open to Mega Dome. I'm just kind of flip-flopping all over the place with my tangents here, but, it's kind of funny because there was someone, I think someone, like, on TV Tropes was saying something like, Negado probably means you're royally screwed in some language or another, and, well, it's actually named after some particular, I think, apocalyptic place in the Bible, so people are saying, like, in a way, it kind of does. I have actually not got through nearly as much of this floor as I thought I would. By this point. But we have had some kind of interesting battles.
Persona!
Well, it's better hit both of them, otherwise Gary Stu's dead.
What? Persona!
Okay, I guess we can see how this does against a single enemy. Not well! That's why I like Shinkuha better. Hey, you're back after I sacrificed you last time. I remember this area of the floor being kind of weird. There are two doors and they both lead to the same room. Doesn't appear to be any FOEs in the general area either. I was watching an Etrian Odyssey speedrun recently, and some people just called them foes. I don't know, I prefer FOE.
I'm at my limits.
Is that my first KO to Hummer, and it was on someone who resists it? That's really bizarre.
That was a good fight. I hope you'll lead us well again.
Actually, no, we got damaged quite a bit there. As Fuka was just about to say, but I skipped her comment by quickly entering the menu. And yeah, this just loops around on itself. I'm not really sure what the point of that is. Gives you a slight illusion of non-linearity, I guess. Okay, so those things can panic you. You'll need to watch out for that.
I hope I can contribute even more.
The enemies are, in theory, getting a bit stronger. The problem is that they still are weak to instant death. Some people have said the dungeons
Leader,
here
are you
are
okay?
a bit,
Is there anyone that can heal him?
are a lot more linear than the ones in Etrian Odyssey. I guess they are. Running a little low on SP for healing skills. I do like the way most of these dungeons are designed, but again, like, I'm not really... I don't know if Etrian... Because, like, the way that I saw that Etrian Odyssey speedrun, it also seemed fairly linear, too. To the point where there were outright plot blocks that stopped you from progressing within a dungeon until you went back to base and reported a quest to someone or got a quest from
Oh,
someone.
crap! There's an FOE over there!
Oh look, double cupids. Except now I have to go back and step on...
Hey, get it together! It's dangerous to get that close to the FOE!
One thing that I did see from that
Escape
Etrian Odyssey
immediately.
speedrun though,
Evacuate. The risk is too high.
is that sometimes they were deliberately getting into encounters with FOEs to reset the encounter meter, but does that work in this game? Yes, it does work in this game. I know that was green before, it's now blue. Interesting. And I got shot
Get
again.
it together! It's dangerous to get that close to the FOE!
Yeah, getting into combat with FOEs you can easily get preemptive strikes on, and then running. I guess you can weave between these FOEs to not get shot by them. Huh, as long as I keep this up. Yeah, that's a good way to handle it. Except now the weaving strategy is going to be a little bit confusing because I had to take a step backwards. No, weaving still seems to work. Good to know. I don't think I've ever actually got through those FOEs that way before, so... You learn new things every day. And you're all now marked.
Here I come.
And we have access to a shortcut, which is good.
There's something suspicious about this
We don't
wall.
have to do that weaving
I'd
again.
like to investigate.
Still more ripped veils, no ripped shawls just yet. I do know that a little later on this floor, there's an interesting event.
Look, a treasure box. I call dibs on whatever's in there.
Let's see. Purple suit. That actually is something he can use, however, I generally like to give that to Gary Stu, because it's... I love that description. So shiny it hurts the eyes. But that is great. You know what? Actually, Junpei's gonna get that right now, because... Oh, actually, no, Panic Suit's good with... I guess Yosuke can take that. Very, very high defense. This dungeon just loves giving you new armor. Don't get used to that generosity. Dungeon 3 is nowhere near like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how the P3 group is a little more pessimistic than the P4 ones. I guess that sort of fits the tones of the game slightly. I don't know, I still actually feel like P3 is a lot more hopeful than most people give it credit for, and that P4 is a lot darker than most people give it credit for. I don't really subscribe to the idea that P4 is all, oh, it's just Scooby-Doo with summons. It's really not. Like, some of the disturbing things that happen in P4 I think are actually worse than the ones in P3. I can't really talk about that without spoilers, though, also. Shipping.
Well.
Oh yes, he certainly is.
Phew.
Huh?
Yeah, they weren't nearly as obviously fake as Elizabeth's fake crying back in that Meat Gum side quest. You know, Yu is actually kind of scary when you think about it. He just reacts to so many situations so nonchalantly. Oh, hi there.
Common enemy.
Let's be cautious.
I forgot how much Megato does with these things. Still one, thought so.
Power.
Swift Strike's pretty effective though when they're all either panic or agility bound.
Nice one.
Though at this point,
That's
two
an
of these
excellent
this floor's
attack.
gold
I'll be
hands
counting.
Grown
aren't
even
even
stronger.
really that tough. Oh boy, this does replace basic Hummer, but that's not really a bad thing in this game because enemies never repel instant death. In games where they do, it's usually a good idea to always keep the single targeting versions around, otherwise you might end up bouncing a Hummer onto your own party, and that's not good. Those do make for some pretty funny moments, though. I do
Your
think
item
that the
bag is
whole...
almost full. Make sure you tidy
I
it
guess I'll
up.
have to go back soon. Like, I kind of miss enemies repelling things, because it always leads to some pretty funny situations. Not if you haven't saved in a while, though. Then it's just painful.
There are 3 shadows.
These flitting butterflies. They're hard to aim for.
I don't know if they've got high agility or not. However, I do know that now's a really good time to try out Naoto's new Mahama. It probably won't kill anything, but it probably won't kill everything, but we'll see.
It's no use.
Wow, okay. That was a lot worse than I thought it would be. Well, at least that wasn't aimed at
There are
her.
2 enemies left.
Go ahead and give me your orders.
It's no use.
I am not having good luck with this fight at all. I do know that that other door in this area leads to kind of a dead end. A fairly trollish dead
Shall
end,
we
too.
go then? It appears to be a treasure box. Should we check its contents?
Well, nope, sadly it's blocked by 1 tile of death water, so yeah, like I said, very trollish
go
dead
then?
end. But it is a sneak preview of something later in the area.
There's 5 enemies. That's
Okay,
so
then.
many.
It's no use.
Okay then. That's always how it tends to happen, isn't it? Everything that is not weak to the instant death element you're using dies to us.
I missed.
Let's do this. Matador.
And that's double link in action.
Did it!
The link hits twice per turn instead of once.
If only all opponents were this easy.
That actually wasn't that easy of a fight. Oh boy, so much stuff. Yeah, I think I might actually have to leave soon, even though I really haven't explored that much of this
Go me!
part.
Da-da-da! An FOE has appeared.
And we're back to just the standard Beasts of Lust. Which is a weird sentence, but still. And guess what? Your favorite gimmick from the earlier floors is back. SP Draining Spike Tiles. Thankfully, there aren't nearly as many as there are on the first floor. When I said this floor was about all the gimmicks from previous areas returning, I was not kidding.
Can we check out that wall over there? Something about it bothers me.
Okay, that one we actually can get through now.
Doesn't that wall look a little different from the others?
Both of them we can get through. Oh, I remember this area. Hi there, you! On my first playthrough of this game, I did actually
There's something
trap
over
myself
there.
with that
Let's
FOE.
go take a look.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful here because it's very, very easy to trap yourself if you don't know about the walking backwards trick.
Execution complete. There are enemies this dangerous here?
Okay, I might be
Peter,
able
aren't you
to
almost
fit
out of energy?
in
You've got to be careful.
one thing that oh boy, you guys are back.
Hey, are you okay? Is that the way you should be going?
I'm actually not sure at this point.
It's dangerous. Please retreat.
Dude!
We're probably more
We
than
gotta
capable
get
of
outta
taking out
here!
this FOE right now, but we don't really have any need to just yet.
Leader, aren't you almost out of energy? You've got to be careful.
Yeah, I might as well show something. If we go over here...
Don't you think there's something strange about that wall?
We can use the spikes here to lure the upper FOE a little bit.
Senpai, are you getting tired? Are you okay?
If we lure it down there, we actually could get behind it.
Leader, are you getting tired? Are you okay?
Actually, hang on for 1 second. We can do one better. We can lure it all the way to the
energy.
very bottom.
Whoa! I found an FOE!
We'll be leaving here soon, so the SP loss doesn't really matter.
Oh, I found a power spot.
And full inventory. And there's a ripped shawl and a ripped dress, which is pretty... 2 ripped dresses. I think that's pretty much
something
enough
about
out of that
wall.
power spot,
Can
though.
we examine it in detail?
Da-da-da! An FOE has appeared.
So now we can actually go here, which, if you remember from that earlier sneak preview, lets us get this treasure chest. And thus we get one of Bo's items from Critical Role. Aim Goggles just increases accuracy, which can actually be pretty helpful in this game sometimes. There's one more thing in this general vicinity that I want to do, though.
Stay on your guard.
Leader, your energy is getting low. Be careful.
Almost there. Almost. Right about here. This is one of my favorite dead-end events in the entire game. Well, we've seen that. Actually, no, I don't think Gary Stu's seen Yukari's rune yet as of this point in the timeline.
Hey!
Huh?
Yeah, this is it.
Phew.
Yeah, I don't like Featherman at all. Totally not.
Oh!
No, those are just the people who run around trying to get you to buy things.
Honestly.
So, at this point, you actually get to create a team name. Unfortunately, you don't get it displayed anywhere in the game. It's only really relevant to one thing that happens at the very end of the game, but we get to choose the first word. Let's go. I'm gonna be pretty lame for this, but this is the one that I went with my first playthrough. Ultra Persona. Actually, Ultra Persona 5 isn't bad, but, you know I could do this, and that sounds like an updated re-release of Persona 5. Ultra Persona 5. That's actually kind of funny. But no, I like Ultra Persona Rangers. Ultra Persona Squadron isn't that bad, though. So, I think everyone reacts the exact same way, no matter what name you choose, but there are some funny combinations that you can do with all of those, so feel free to share your suggestions in the comments for what things you can do. So, here's a personal tangent of mine. On my test playthrough, I found a pretty funny combination. Neo Dragon Man.
What?
It sounds like, you know how there was a time when there was so many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ripoffs, like Street Sharks and like a bunch of other things like that? Neo Dragon Man legitimately sounds like something out of that era. And yes, we do need to remember this for something a bit later in the game. It's nothing really drastically important, mind you. But anyway, Ultra Persona Rangers, away! Neo Dragon Man also sounds like a Sentai show starring some of the mannequins from the various Fire Emblem games. I can seriously imagine that. Like, you'd have Kana as like the token kid, You could have male Corrin, you could have, there's not a lot of male Manakets that you can really use. A lot of things to buy for the next part. And then you could have Garon as the Saturday morning cartoon villain, who always gets defeated and goes, "Curse you, Neo Dragon Man!" And then, like, Naga could be, like, the mission control who recruits teenage Manakets with attitude. I'm sorry, I'm reading way too into this, but, anyway, next time on Neo Dragon Man, we explore more of Group Date Cafe Stop 4. See you then.